story about somebody who put stories.
You like to tell stories, or stories being told to you?
No, I left it like that deliberately because it could mean several things. So I decided that was my last one. I decided I would be coy and ambiguous.
What did you expect when you first met with me?
I think what I can teach is on here. I can teach faking, which is what I've acquired while I was working across Europe in different jobs. I can give kind of workshops, I think, in undestroyable optimism. Undestroyable optimism is what I've learned in Cambridge.
To make it easier to link with other people and participate, you have to write down at least 4 of your areas of interest. Either things you know, maybe talk about to others.
I would like to learn how to play keyboards or piano.
Things that you may be interested in and you like to know more about.
What I would want to learn, I think I want to learn to be more like a nomad. I would also like to be truly independent, so if someone can teach me that, I would be very, very happy.
So what is open knowledge? There's closed knowledge. It's knowledge where we all artificially, as human beings, we artificially create these barriers. We say, you're not allowed to make a copy. You're not allowed to make a new version without my permission, and normally without me charging you some money. Now there's a reason for that, and the logic of it goes like this. Although these things are free to copy once they exist, they might be costly to create. And therefore we must artificially create scarcity. Normally, humans, in some sense, spend most of their lives struggling against necessary scarcity. But scarcity that seems to be imposed by the outside world. There isn't enough food. There aren't enough S-Class Mercedes to go around. But this often is an artificial constraint we create. But the point of it is that we do have a choice. We can go out and produce knowledge that is open at the beginning, which we say anyone is free to go and use and reuse and redistribute however they want. And that this actually might be a really incredible way of developing things. If people are able to contribute to some common resource, and they only need to contribute a little bit, they only need to contribute 5 minutes of their time, and there's a way to stitch together 5 minutes of a lot of people's time, of 1 million people's time, that's 5 million minutes. That's a lot of resource and energy and effort that you can put together to build things. And you can give it all out again. And there's something kind of incredible about the cycle once it starts, because once you give it out, other people can give back, and you at least hope that you've kind of got a snowball starting to move down the mountain towards bigger and bigger things.
Hello everybody, I'm Daniel, and I will be introducing you to Open Hardware, a little platform we like to call Arduino. The Arduino is an open source physical computing platform. Basically means there's a whole community of people that are developing the software and the hardware to make it easier for us as artists, or you as artists, designers, to use it, to include it in your project. In this case, it's a 16 megahertz clock. What does that mean in our lives? That means in every second, this thing is pulsing 16 million times. It's awesome, everybody. This is... Yes, yes.
the bigger the wool, the bigger the needles you need to move it around. And if the bigger the needles, the bigger the holes are you make. It. And you just pull that through and over the end.
Over the end.
You've cast on. Just once like that, and then just through the back of the wool that's on your finger. Then keep hold of the ends and pull the loop up.
So source code is the instructions that make computers do what they do. It's the recipe that makes a computer run. And programmers make source code. They type in, do this, then do this. If this happens, then do the other thing, in a very formal language. And the computer obeys these precise instructions, and that is what all computer software is made of.
Hold that needle in that hand.
Yeah.
Push that through. You go around, and then you get hold of the second needle, and you make your new loop.
Employment and self-employment give you a ceiling on how wealthy you can become because you can only work so many hours, even if you have a brilliant hourly rate. And self-employment brings its own problems in that you're merely substituting somebody else for your boss and making yourself your boss. So they all say, get a business. And this is because having a business means that it is a separate entity. It is not you. It is separate from you as an individual.
So we've got a site called Pledge Bank where you can make a pledge that says, I will do something if so many other people will also do it. So this could be because you've seen there's some litter in your local park and nobody's ever cleared it up and you're really fed up of it. And you put a pledge up saying, I will, on Saturday, clean up the litter if 5 people will help me. And you go and go and leaflet your local neighbourhood and get people to sign up on the website. And then if you get enough people, then you can go and do it. Or it could be something much bigger, like we just had a pledge that succeeded recently to start a children's book library in India. And they spent a year getting 1,000 people to sign up to say that they will donate books to this new children's library. And you want the community involved, so they got lots of people to be involved. And none of them had to take action without being sure that everyone else would as well. So it was definitely worthwhile. I mean, it's the worst thing if you go along and you beat at something and nobody else is doing it. But if you all promise to do it first and get the commitment, then you can act as a group together and be much more effective. So anyone can go to Pledge Bank and make a pledge and use it as a kind of tool to gather people together.
I think that's the kind of common way of designing a net label. It's online-based distribution of music files. And for me, it's important it has to be free, and most common is Creative Commons to kind of protect the freedom. And through the free element in it, I observe that quite often that builds up a certain online community, a very loose one, maybe slightly distant one through the internet. But I think that's the unique way of a unique thing of a net label. They kind of, because you give it away for free, you kind of start talking about music, you start swapping about music much more than other labels do. And that's not really characteristics, that's just an observation. I do think net labels are kind of somehow electronic related in the output as well. I'm not sure if it's due to the interface where they release or if it's that electronic music is kind of produced relatively fast compared to orchestral music, and so it doesn't hurt as much to give it for free.
Programming isn't that difficult, okay? It looks really scary, but all you need to do is kind of throw yourself head first, figure out what you want to do, and then figure out how to do it, as opposed to, well, I got to learn all this theory first, I got to understand what a variable is. Forget about it, man. There's so many examples here that you can use to learn from these things, well, from all this development that people have done.
This is a trivial fact of normal reality that physical objects are not cheaply reproducible. To get another car is almost the same cost as getting the first car, right? There's no kind of savings. But whereas other kind of things, particularly ideas, knowledge, information, once we have created it once, it is basically costless to recreate, to create new copies. And I don't lose something. If I'm telling you this information right now, I'm giving this talk, and I'm not losing anything. Whereas if I give you my shoes, or I give you my jacket, or I give you my bicycle, I no longer possess it. Whereas when I give you knowledge, when I give you information, you have gained something and I have lost nothing. It's the original and most incredible free lunch there ever is. And it makes information, and particularly information in the forms of ones and zeros that sit on computers and go across networks, fundamentally different from the other kind of resources that exist in our world.
This, in fact, is trademarked, which is interesting in this area where we talk about copy left and open source. This diagram, had I put 2 black lines here, is trademark. So you'll notice the absence of 2 black lines.